It is Chuck Zito, the beast from the east, and you better be watching Muscle in the Morning, or else.
Welcome back to another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. I'm your host, Pete the Producer, here to bring you all the latest news in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. It's January 28, 2014, and on today's show, Jay Cutler poses down with two of his biggest fans. The Grand Prix Australia update, Ronnie Raquel announces his return to the stage, and what does a top bodybuilder look like next to one of the world's strongest men? Plus, stay tuned for the answer to yesterday's trivia question, only on Muscle in the Morning. This past weekend at the LA Fit Expo, Jay Cutler had a couple of overwhelming fans praising him at his live Q&A seminar. After awkwardly stating they love him multiple times, Jay turned the situation around into a funny one, as he actually got them to come on stage and pose down with him. In addition, he had Mr. Olympia Phil Heath judge the mini pose down. I have to admit, the improv on Jay's part was quite funny. As we are nearing the next big show in Australia, the 2014 Australian Grand Prix competitor list is out. Although we can expect more late entries, set to compete in the men's division, we'll see Sean Roden, David Henry, Jose Raymond, Evan Centopani, Rolly Winkler, Ebony Wilson, Branch Warren, Abe Ezelbeck, and Luke Timms. And remember, there's actually only one official class for the men. IFBB Pro Ronnie Raquel has announced his return to the stage after some time off. Despite being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes back in February, Ronnie still went on to compete in the Arnold, Germany, Brazil, and Mr. Europe Pro shows. He and his wife later had a new child in November, to which he devoted most of his time. Raquel has now officially announced he will be returning to the stage this year. Will we see him on the Olympia stage? Stay tuned for more updates. What happens when you take one of the world's most massive bodybuilders and place him next to one of the strongest men on the planet? Well, this is what it looks like as Brian Shaw makes, guess who? Yep, Kai Greene look like a small child as they stand next to each other. Reminds me of this classic picture with Arnold and Andre the Giant with Wilt Chamberlain. Now for the answer to yesterday's trivia question. The question was, name this young bodybuilder shown here. And the answer? Shawn Ray. Some people actually guessed Kevin Levrone, but that is incorrect. Shout out to Kurt James for the correct answer. Now for today's trivia question, courtesy of Kurt James. Who is this 1940s era bodybuilder? Though his last competition was in 1950, he appeared on Muscle magazine covers from 1947 all the way to 2002. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the answer. And that does it for another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. I'm your host, Pete the Producer. See you tomorrow, and make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.